and I see all people in Roma. All is a story.
What the flick, everybody? Welcome, Ben Mankiewicz, Christy Lemire, Matt Atchity, Alonso Duralde, Woody Allen. We're debating here whether it's his 42nd or 43rd movie.
It's up there. There are a lot of them. You make a movie a year, you know, starting in like 1968-ish.
Starting like 42, 43 years ago, you're going to...
Whatever year, you can have 42 or 43. This is To Rome with Love. This is the first movie that Woody Allen himself actually appears in since Scoop, which was 2006. He's in Europe again. He has this big ensemble cast of Penelope Cruz and Jesse Eisenberg and Greta Gerwig and Alec Baldwin and
Judy Davis.
Roberto Benigni's in it, and
Ellen Page,
and they're all having wacky misadventures and bumping into each other.
No, they're not.
They don't bump into each other.
No, they don't bump into each other.
Within story.
Individual people bump into each other, like Alec Baldwin and Jesse Eisenberg.
Yes.
There are 4 different stories that go on. And it's supposed to be this love letter to Rome. Is it really? Take a look.
The kids are communists, the father's a mortician, the mother run a leper colony.
Lavorare tutto il tempo sdraiati sulla schiena, non lo posso immaginare. Io sì.
I don't want to do it here.
If you're going to screw your best friend's boyfriend, does it really matter what the venue is?
You will never understand women.
That's been proven.
We got on you for saying they bump into each other
They don't.
because it's very significant that the stories, they
don't
don't you keep
intersect.
waiting
They
for
never
intersect.
They
and
don't. You're right. They don't intersect.
They do bump into bears, though.
Bear tourists with visors and fin caps
and cameras.
roaming around Rome.
I'm actually okay that they don't intersect. I mean, I think lately, ever since Crash, it's been the let's have the ensemble cast of a million different disparate things, and then at the end we find out how they all, So that they don't intersect is fine. This is the thing with Woody Allen. It's such a crapshoot. Like, generally you either get something really great like Midnight in Paris or Vicky Cristina Barcelona, or you get
His paid vacation.
Well, yeah, or you get Scoop, or You Want Me to Tall Dark Stranger, one of the ones that doesn't work. This one, for me, actually is one of the rare ones that kind of is okay. Like, I laughed enough and I was entertained by it, but it's third-rate Woody, but it's still, I would rather see third-rate Woody than, the best Adam Sandler has to offer,
Right.
All
let's say.
right, well, that's true.
This is never as funny or witty, as clever as he thinks it is.
Yeah,
The character's never that interesting.
I think they needed to intersect. I get that they don't need to as a concept, like that's okay. But in this case, everything felt sort of
Arbitrary.
Yeah, arbitrary and incomplete. And there was only and in a few of the stories, I didn't. I mean, there were really characters I really disliked. I mean, Judy Davis, who's so good, but here I found to just be nothing except sort of shrill and unpleasant. And then we're supposed to believe a sort of, right from the moment that we're introduced to Ellen Page, that there's going to be this sort of burgeoning intensity between Ellen Page and Jesse Eisenberg. And I didn't, not for half a second did I believe they were even remotely attracted to each
chemistry,
other.
much less falling in love with each other.
Yeah. And then Alec Baldwin sort of serves as a sort of a commentator throughout, but I thought it was confusing about who he was speaking to,
and who
because
can hear him,
because he's a real character and this sort of commentator who's not really in these scenes. But that said, I thought he was excellent, and everything that I found funny came from Alec Baldwin. I thought he was really good.
You know what was jarring for me was that you had these 4 different storylines, right? But they're all on 4 different timelines, right? It's not like it's 4 different storylines all in the course of a day or the course of a weekend or whatever. It's like one of them takes place over the course of a really, really long afternoon. One of them, the Jesse Eisenberg and Ellen Page one, has to be over the course of weeks. One of them is months. I mean, the one with Alison Pill. Also the one with Alison Pill and
Woody Allen
the Italian. It takes place over like weeks or months because her parents come, played by Woody Allen and Judy Davis, and they're engaged. It was jarring to me.
That may have been. I didn't even realize that the timelines were different. Of course they are, but that may have been one of the reasons why I felt like there ought to be some sort of connection. Even if there could have been a bold way to do a lack of connection, like maybe it's so small that it's just meeting
they pass each other on the street,
meeting at a shop, and then the movie opens with a traffic cop. I don't know. I kept waiting for that to get delivered.
There was some weird little chorus thing happening with that, and the guy at the end.
Yeah, but there's no conceit.
I thought the guy at the end was the same guy until it was clear that it wasn't the same guy.
And nothing in the middle.
Right, I know. Yeah.
Well, when you and I talked last night about this, as I said, I thought it was like 4 elements of stories, 4 bits that he couldn't make a whole movie out of.
No, yeah,
And so
none
then
of
he
these
kinda
would
owns
make
it.
their own film.
Right,
for
and I
sure.
felt in some cases it was kind of like gags, like the shower bit felt like it would have been some throwaway joke in one of his earlier, tighter movies that he extended out to its ridiculous extreme. It's like in Manhattan when Marshall McLuhan shows up, and it's almost as if, okay, now we're going to do 30 minutes of Marshall McLuhan's day before he gets to that scene.
I thought there is a one of the stories, the Ellen Page, Jesse Eisenberg, Greta Gerwig story. I think that's an interesting concept of the best friend coming to visit, and you're drawn to her. You were warned that you were going to get drawn to her. You say you're not going to, then you get drawn to her.
But that's something he's done a lot, though.
Sure. Well, yeah, but I mean, and he does it. And I think if Woody Allen comes out and makes the same movie again, that's okay. We like that movie. But I mean, again, these are incredibly young people, and it was really, and it's sort of this open. There's this open. The fact that Greta Gerwig was underutilized because I love her and she did nothing here, and she's so good. But there's a concept there, and I would have liked that. That's the one I was most interested in, except I didn't believe it for half a second, as I said.
That, and then also the whole Roberto Benigni thing we're talking about, Woody Allen remaking his movies. I mean, the whole idea of celebrity for the sake of celebrity and how flimsy that is Woody Allen's done that many times.
But I thought that was particularly lazy, because I get that the idea over here with Roberto Benigni is that it's just random. It is completely random, and it would have been, I thought, slightly more challenging, a little more interesting, and we would have cared more, and we would have believed it a little more if he'd done something. Some little thing that then caused it to go completely out of control, where he loses his anonymity, but then I think the joke at the end when they go to somebody else would have paid off considerably more. Like, even if he just saved a girl from crossing the street.
I think the joke is that it's his very ordinariness that somehow propels him into celebrity. That's the point.
I needed a trigger, and then that still would have worked. That then they would have been then they would have become fascinated with the
look at reality TV. I mean, these people haven't accomplished anything. They just are cast on camera, I don't know. I grant everything. I mean, yes, this movie is riddled with weaknesses. The score drove me up the wall. That if I hear that thing one more time, I was gonna murder somebody.
Well, it starts with Volare of all songs.
Yeah, and
Woody Allen knows better. Like, how much he knows about music, he knows so much about music.
Yeah, and usually his scores are, they're predictably sort of, Sidney Bechet or whatever. But yeah, this one was like this weird Italian pop and like I don't know what. But nonetheless, when Woody Allen movies don't work, they are painful to watch. And this one, I was never in pain.
Right.
I was just sort of like...
It wasn't painful. You're totally right.
I was mildly amused, but I was mildly amused by Woody Allen. So,
I was mild. I think that's actually, but we gave different scores, but I largely felt the same way. I never felt like, oh my God, this is, which some of the others have been. Sure. I agree with that. It helps if you know a lot of about opera. Like, I think there were probably some pretty jokes. There were probably some funny opera jokes there, but I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But I took it on face value that they're funny.
Because they do Pagliacci.
All right, what did you?
I'm the generous guy. I gave it a 6.5.
I give it a 5.
4.2.
Slightly better than average, 5.1,
okay.
And that brings the overall average to 5.2, which is exactly appropriate.
Because
it's what I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
47% on the tomato meter.
And it is the this surprised me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I believe, not scientific. We might have missed one. About 8 Woody Allen movies that are under 50. Not rotten, which should be under 60, but under 50. And this right now is one of them.
Next, he comes back to New York. He needs to come back to the United States at this point, I think, and get back in touch with who he was.
But no, Barcelona and Paris worked well.
But by the way, real quick then, just to finish it up, his first movie he'd been in since, you mentioned Scoop, which I think is 2006. If you forget the fact that I don't think the things work, like when he's in it, the things he does, he's funny.
He's being Woody Allen.
Yeah, he's being Woody Allen, and it's nice to see him, and it was funny.
Yeah. What happened to his eye?
Which one?
One of them's like all weird and.
Like he's looking at the snack machine?
Well, it's just like one's big and one's like he's turned into Popeye.
Not as handsome as he used to be, is what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.